Iowa's economic recovery is somewhat uneven. We've got two economies. I've talked about this often when I go out and share about Iowa's economic performance over the last decade or so. We have a metropolitan recovery, and that's strong. And we have a non-metropolitan recovery, but it's weak. And as a matter of fact, we haven't recovered all of the jobs that we lost during the Great Recession. Now, I've done this study, and the whole idea of this study is to just get a handle on how well has Iowa done, which sectors have improved or deteriorated, and again, how have the urban areas grown relative to the rural areas in Iowa. So if we start right out, how has Iowa done nationally? Iowa recovered a little bit more rapidly from the Great Recession than the nation. We didn't contract as much as they did nationally, and we recovered back to our pre-recession level of employment about a year before the nation did. But growth at the national level had a much sharper slope. And as we've worked our way all the way through, Iowa's growth has actually been quite disappointing. We rank this decade alone just sixth worst in growth. Among our neighbors, we rank worst. And among all of the plain states, we're growing at a slower pace than all of the plain states as well. So we're not doing that well. Again, the growth in the metropolitan economies is relatively strong, but our economy is being dragged down somewhat because we're populated with a lot of industries, agriculture, manufacturing, and industries that depend on agriculture and manufacturing that aren't growing very fast. So our industrial mix is somewhat unfavorable towards growth. So that's the biggest problem that we have. We have strong growth in our metropolitan areas in health and social services, employment, very strong growth. As a matter of fact, that sector grew by 30,000 jobs in the metropolitan economy. But the rural economy lost 12,000 of those jobs. So you can see the shifting that's going on. And along with that shifting in terms of poor performance, you get population shifting into the metropolitan areas. We have relatively strong growth and healthy growth in finance and insurance jobs. And we have a cluster of those kinds of jobs in and around the Des Moines metropolitan area. So that part of the economy is doing well. Our ag economy has struggled in terms of income generation and overall jobs, but it hasn't declined as much as it did in previous decades. It actually shows some stability in terms of overall employment. And over the long run, we can anticipate that the ag sector isn't going to contract as much as it has in past years.